Welcome back to my Dark Souls 2 YouTube channel, where we only cover my favorite game of all time, Dark Souls 2. In this video, I'm going to subject myself to waterboard torture for your entertainment, also known as playing Scholar of the First Sin. Now, a lot of you commenters had a big complaint with my critique of Scholar that I released 8 months ago, which was that I ran past all of the enemies. And you know what? Fair enough, that's a good criticism. But what if I told you that I'd rather drown myself with this wet rag than play this stupid game again? As a reward for hitting 10k subs, I thought that I'd suffer more for your enjoyment. So it's time for me to beat this shitty game one more time, and this time I'll play the game correctly. Please like, subscribe, donate on Patreon, and subscribe to my OnlyFans. Feet pics only. When I first played Scholar and saw the bad hitboxes and enemy spam, I thought, F this, I'm out, and I ran past everything. I know, I'm shameless. A lot of comments, and by a lot, I mean a lot of f***ing comments, said that this is proof that I suck at Dark Souls 2. Mad 'cause bad, get good, typical Dark Souls slander. Now it's time for my rebuttal. What if my original gameplay of Scholar was the most fun version of the game? For me, every Souls player thinks, hey, that guy didn't like the game and he played differently than me, therefore mad 'cause bad. But what if slowly murdering hordes of enemies on every level and boss run is boring? I could have always fought every enemy on every level of Scholar, I just didn't want to. To prove this, I did just that. And this new playthrough left me with some glorious insights that I want to share with you all today. The first thing I realized after playing through Scholar slowly is that it's not hard. It's punishing. I have infinite healing through life gems, so I can slowly clear rooms of enemies while hit trading with those enemies to win with little to no mechanical difficulty. And yes, comment section, you can easily hit trade in Dark Souls 2 like it's Skyrim to get an easy win. Don't believe me? I did it the whole f***ing time. So Dark Souls 2 combat isn't all that hard, but if you do f*** it up and die, then have fun killing giant hordes of enemies to get back to where you were. And you guys wonder why I ran past everything. I prefer games with high mechanical difficulty and little punishment, like a Dark Souls 3 level 1 run. I do not like a medium difficulty game with ginormous punishments for death. However, enemy spam isn't my only issue with Scholar. It's time I respond to the most liked criticism against my video where I said that vanilla is better than Scholar. To summarize the basic argument, this guy says that yes, Scholar does have enemy spam, but if you just kill all the enemies, then the extra levels gained makes the player stronger, thus offsetting the difficulty. I have many issues with this comment. Firstly, Dark Souls 2 has the most mechanically simple and easy bosses in the series, so killing all the enemies to make the easy bosses even easier makes the game more boring. Hey guys, I'm editing this video and I noticed a problem with the script. I was originally going to say that this comment didn't make any sense because Scholar starts hard and gets easier, so logically speaking, killing all of the enemies in every level would only make this problem worse. But then I realized something. I'm sort of a Dark Souls 2 god at this point since I've played way too much for this channel and I never die. I know Dark Souls 2 fans won't admit it, but it's true. I've memorized all of the gang squads and use infinite healing to almost never die. I can't in good faith say that Iron Keep is easier or harder than Shrine of Amana because I didn't die in either area once, except for when doing the Smelter Demon boss run. Same goes for comparing Iron Keep to Drangleic Castle and the Catacombs. If I didn't die in either level once, then I can't really compare the difficulty. So my final response to the comment is this. Getting more souls from killing all of the enemies doesn't make the late game feel any more balanced because Scholar's too easy due to infinite healing for me to notice any change at all. But I can say that it is really boring. I do need to correct something I said earlier. Dark Souls 2 is not a medium difficulty game with huge punishment. It's just an easy game with huge punishment. The only thing that gives gave Scholar the illusion of difficulty was the gank squads and how the levels were so jam-packed with enemies that it was so boring to kill them all. The game just tempted me into running past everything. I also came to a more important realization. Difficulty in Scholar is not really measured through deaths, but through how time-consuming the level is to complete. In other words, difficulty in Scholar is measured through boredom. Dark Souls 2 Vanilla also shares this problem of being a bit too easy, maybe the easiest Souls game I've ever played, but the levels are very fast-paced, so they don't waste the player's time. On the topic of wasting the player's time, this leads to my main issue with Scholar. It's not the difficulty, it's the pacing. Every level packs so many enemies so close together that it destroys the game's pacing. Dying to ganks that undo all the player's progress makes this problem even worse for new players. If I'm being honest, every time I play Scholar, I'm already upset in the Forest of the Fallen Giants, not because of difficulty, but because it's just so f***ing boring. My question to Scholar fans is this: is there any limit to the amount of enemies in a level where you'd finally admit that FromSoft had gone too far? Or will you guys always repeat the intelligent arguments that FromSoft fans are known to make, like mad 'cause bad, or get good, stop complaining? To me, it is obvious that Scholar goes so far in enemy spam that it's completely past the limit of what is acceptable in game design by a wide margin, much more than any other FromSoft game, and I was honestly surprised to find that there is a niche community of people who enjoy Scholar. There's one comment that said that Scholar the First Sin to Dark Souls is like Cat Mario to Mario, but I can't really agree with that because it's not hard if you go slow. It's still extremely easy. You have infinite healing. It's just really boring. I think that some Dark Souls fans are just incapable of producing negative feelings about the game because they love it so much, even if the game's pacing is extremely slow. Speaking of negative feelings, somehow playing Scholar correctly made Iron Keep worse. Let's discuss. So I began Iron Keep by slowly clearing every enemy and pulling every lever. Then, in typical Dark Souls 2 fashion, my weapon was about to break so I couldn't fight the boss. Another example of Dark Souls 2 jank not working when paired up with enemy spam. So I rest at the bonfire and proceed to do the boss run, only to realize that it's impossible. You want to know why? Because I cleared the level slowly and pulled both levers. Now that the bridge is fully flat, the enemies on the other side aggro and make the boss run literally impossible. I tried so many times to no avail. I was genuinely punished for clearing the level slowly and interacting with every mechanic. This game is ridiculous. It doesn't get worse than this. So in order to fight Smelter Demon, I had to kill every enemy on every boss run every time in all of the multi-fights. And I didn't even mention the fact that I got invaded 3 times by NPCs in the Iron Keep. Also, servers are back up, so a quick side note. Not only is Scholar the most punishing Souls game, but you can also be invaded even if you aren't human. And not being human means that you're at a health deficit. Oh my god. After killing Smelter Demon, I got to the worst room of Iron Keep with all the hidden archers. I said previously that a player needs a bow to make this level fair, which angered the comments, and you know what? Fair enough. Instead of fighting the enemies in the room the designers placed them in, I can always just slowly lure every group really far away so that I'm safe from archers. Are you guys happy now? Did I get good now? Is this what you wanted? Do I need to explain why this is bad design? The only way to fight without being harassed by hidden archers is to either A, engage with boring ranged combat, or B, slowly lure every group of archers to another part of the level to make this game fair. I'm certain some Scholar fan will use 4D chess to explain why this is actually great game design and I suck, but all I hear is the sound of an addict snorting copium. A lot of time has passed since I released my previous Dark Souls 2 videos, which has given me time to reflect on my words and become truly wise. When I first played Scholar, I had 3 main issues. The lock-on and controls are jank, the hitboxes are straight up wrong, and last but not least, why the f*** are there so many f***ing enemy. And then I played vanilla and I thought, hey, that's pretty good. This made me realize something. Dark Souls 1 enemy placement and bosses wouldn't work if we used a Dark Souls 3 character because it'd be too easy. Part of the challenge is playing around the jank to beat the game. Similarly, this is true with Dark Souls 2. The player faces off against a reasonable amount of enemies while dealing with the bad lock-on, bad hitboxes, extra slow attack speed, and inability to turn around while attacking. My main issue with Scholar is that the game is still janky as ever, but they decided to spam me with enemies to make all of the issues worse. Even though I complained a lot in my original critique about how the game is extremely janky, I now realize that it wasn't jank that made Dark Souls 2 terrible, it's more that vanilla was built with the jank in mind while Scholar wasn't. Of course the hitbox jank is still inexcusably bad, but the other janky things limit the player's abilities and make vanilla more fun while it makes Scholar more unbearable. The main reason I made this video is the same as every other Dark Souls 2 video besides the first. I got a bunch of angry comments and wanted to respond. Now that I've beaten Scholar without running past enemies, I can verifiably say that the way I played the game in my original critique was the most enjoyment, or the least amount of pain, I was ever going to have with the game. Playing Scholar of the First Sin correctly may be one of the most boring things I have ever done. Now that I have insulted Scholar for the last time, I just want to take this time to thank the Dark Souls 2 community. If there's one thing I learned making these videos, it's that Dark Souls 2 fans exist, and they are desperate for content. Ever since the Mauler v H-Bomber Guy war ended, the content well has been dry. And even though many of you guys dislike me and have left many mean comments, those mean comments provoked me into making more videos. So I guess insult me more if you want another video? I don't know. This is a toxic community, I think. I think Dark Souls fans are toxic or something. Whether you're a masochist who prefers Scholar or a normal person, I owe Dark Souls 2 fans and haters alike a debt of gratitude for making all of these videos get so damn popular. So thank you. I love you. Scholar sucks. Bye.